And for our last task, we're going to graph another cannonball. So this function, d equals 50 plus 312t minus 16t squared, gives the height in feet of a cannonball t seconds after the ball leaves the cannon. So what does each term represent? So 50 means our initial height is 50 feet. So we're just going to put starts at 50 feet. And then our 312t means that it is shot up at 312 feet per second. So I'm just going to put goes up 312 feet and then per second. And then this negative 16t squared, that would be gravity bringing it back down to the ground. Now, what we're going to do is graph this using our graphing calculators. So to put this in a graphing calculator, we just have to change this to y and these two t's to x. So we're going to graph y equals 50 plus 312x minus 16x to the second power. So to graph that, I go into my graphing window first by pressing y equals. And then I'm going to put in this right-hand part of the expression. So 50 plus 312x minus 16 and then x to the second power. And then what you do, we need to change our window so that x is from 0 to 25 for my domain. So here, my domain, the minimum is 0. The max is 25. And then my y value is going to go from 0 to 2,000. And then rather than counting by tens, I'm going to change this to count by 100. So now what I can do is graph that. And what I'm going to do is just roughly sketch the graph. So I'm going to press trace here and find the rough top of the graph. So that seems to be around here at about 10 seconds. And the graph looks to be at about 1,600 feet. So drawing this in, we can actually calculate the maximum. So if we go here, see that calculate, I can go second calculate. And then what I want is the maximum point. So this left bound means you go to the left of the maximum. The right bound means you go to the right. And it's at 9.74, 15.71. So I'm just going to put that on there, 9.74, then 15.71. So down here too, I'm going to go back and then trace to find when does this cannonball hit the ground again. So it looks to end at about 20 seconds. So that cannonball is in the air for quite a while. So on here, describe the shape of the graph. So the graph is a parabola. And I'm going to put the graph is a U-shaped parabola. Notice it's a U pointing downward. And that tells us the cannonball goes up and then hits the ground again. So the cannonball goes up and then hits the ground. So now here, we had to find that maximum height, which we did. It was 9.74. That was our seconds for x. And then that maximum height was 1,571 feet. So this is our max height right there, and that's the time that it happened. And then lastly, we estimated here when it hit the ground was around 20 seconds. So what domain is appropriate for this function? So remember, our graph is going to be somewhere between 0 and 20 seconds. So we can say x is greater than or equal to 0. And then we can put less than 20 or less than or equal to 20. If we wanted to put that in a different notation, we could put it like this and put x can be at 0 and 20. So we could put it in that notation. We could also just say x is between 0 and 20 seconds. Describe that verbally.